Yo, what's good? It's your homeboy T-Pain. Right now, at this very exact moment, you plugged in with Jay.
Plugged in with Jay right now. This is Jay O'Man.
Turn up.
My boy Jay Perry.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
My boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Jay the Plug.
You got many winners from many moons. You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Get plugged up, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode of Plugged In with Jay. I, of course, am your host, Jay, Jason, Jay the Plug, whatever you want to call me. And we are here with a very special guest, receiver and special teams extraordinaire for the Bears and the Los Angeles Raiders. However, now they're the Las Vegas Raiders. Super Bowl 20 champion and one of the top 100 greatest Bears of all time, Mr. Willie Gault. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through. I know you're a busy man. You're already in the vehicle. You are always on the move. So we'll get you started here. So the Super Bowl 20 champion, just real simple question. Take it if you can. What was that experience like? Can you take us through that experience?
Well, it was somewhat surreal because, as you know, we had put out a song called the Super Bowl Shuffle in game 2 of the season. But, you know, the good thing about it, we had a great year the year before that. We were 1 game or 2 games away from going to the Super Bowl, and our entire goal was to go to the Super Bowl that year. So we played very hard. We had a great team. We had a great team chemistry. We had characters on the team. We had fun. And we won games. And the Super Bowl was something that was the ultimate as far as NFL goes. That's what you play for as a team, to win a Super Bowl championship. And we were able to do that. And we had probably arguably one of the best defenses of all time and one of the best teams of all time. I mean, we were second on offense. And then, of course, our defense was number 1 in the league. So we had a really good team and a really good mixture of guys. And we had a guy named Walter Payton, who was, you know, arguably one of the best running backs of all time. And we had a great defense.
Yeah, Walter Payton, I've heard of him. He's pretty good. I bet he was pretty key on opening up downfield for you guys, making sure everybody had to stack the box, get away from y'all a little bit, huh?
Absolutely. Well, the good thing about it is that when I came, I brought speed. So I opened up the safeties couldn't sit down and just wait to tackle Walter. He had to, you know, respect me. And so it opened up a little bit for him. And of course, I opened up for other guys, and other guys opened up for me. So it was just a total team. We ran the ball more than we threw it because we had Walter, but, you know, it was a great balanced offense, basically.
Absolutely. And you bring up that speed. There's a question that I cannot wait to ask you later on. So you were saying y'all had the number 2 offense and the number 1 defense. You hear constantly about that incredible defense. Do you think that the offense was overshadowed at all by the defense whenever there were, you know, any talks on ESPN, NFL Network, anything like that nowadays? You think you were overshadowed?
Oh, no, rightly so. The defense was great. I mean, I enjoyed sitting on the sideline watching them terrorize people on the other side. So, I mean, they had a great combination of, you know, Mike Singletary and William Perry and, you know, Otis Wilson and, you know, Wilbur Marshall and, you know, the cornerbacks, Leslie Frazier, Mike Richardson were great, and Gary Fensick. And they had Dave Durison and the late, great Todd Bell and, you know, Dan Hampton and Richard Dent, who was a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, they had a great defense. And, you know, Steve McMichael, who is, you know, going through some stuff now, but they had an overall great team. And then they had great backups. The backups were pretty good, too. And so they just terrorized people, and rightly so. They got the notoriety and the credibility that they deserved.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Dent. He's just a mountain of a human being.
Yeah, he's a lot of man, that's for sure.
Yeah, he showed me some of his watches in his collection. That guy is a watch collector. Great person. So whenever you left the Bears, there were rumors, and feel free to say you have no comment or anything. That's totally fine. But there were rumors about having a couple issues with quarterback Jim McMahon. Is that the reason why you ended up leaving the Bears, or have you?
No, absolutely not. I had issue with no one. I mean, I played my game the way I played it. You know, some people didn't like it, but it wasn't their choice. It was my choice. I always promised myself that I wouldn't let people dictate what I do and how I feel. So guys had problems with me leaving or going to the off season to run track. And, I didn't really care because I knew at the end of the day, I was in control of my destiny. Not, they weren't. I showed up on time. I knew my plays. I did everything correct with the Bears, and that's all I could do. Everything else I had to prepare for this day because I knew I couldn't play football the rest of my life. So
Sure.
football was a means to a beginning to an end. It was amazing in Chicago. It's the best city in America, I think. I had a wonderful time there. I have memories that I will never forget, and relationships I've garnered forever. And I felt good about where I was and my teammates. I love my teammates. They all, some said different things, some said crazy things, but I forgive them, and it's okay because it's just you say things in the heat of the battle. It's like a brother or sister. Sometimes your brother curse you out, and you go, "Oh, I'm not gonna like my brother for the rest of my life." No, you just forgive them and move on. It's just the way
Right.
people are.
Yep.
But I know ill feelings. I love those guys, and they're my brothers for life, and all my teammates are my track and field world, my Olympic teammates, and my Super Bowl teammates. They're all team for life.
Man, and what's funny is I don't remember sending you any of these questions, but man, you lead in very well to these questions. I'm very impressed. So you were saying that you have a ton of really special memories and a lot of things that you hold dear from your career. I always love asking my guests this question, especially guys from the past, like who've been in the NFL before today, who've been retired. Do you have any specific memories that hold dear to you, like whenever you start thinking about your time in the league?
I mean, I have so many amazing memories. I'm a small guy from a small town from Griffin, Georgia, 30 miles outside of Atlanta. I never dreamed, but I did dream that I would be in the position I'm in today or be able to meet the people I've met. I mean, think about it. I live in a generation where I was able to hang out with Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown, and not to draw names, but these are guys that I'm able to hang out with and call my friends, and like Denzel Washington or Al Pacino. I mean, all these guys that are crazy, Michael Jordan. Now I get a chance to hang out with LeBron James. It's just on and on. Sorry. Whoever you can think about, I've just about met. And to be able, and all cross of life. I mean, from Olympians to, actors to singers, Michael Jackson. I hung out with Michael Jackson. I mean, that's like crazy. It's Mike Tyson. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's just crazy to think that you're able to do that in this way at this level, and to be able to be respected by those guys, and those guys know who you are. And of course, I know who they were, but to hear them say who I was, it was like, oh my gosh. I met Tom Cruise and he knew who I was, and I was like, oh my gosh. John Travolta, I met him and he go, Willie, I love this. I go, oh my gosh. So those things are respectful. Those things that means you did something right. And my thing is that people ask, well, don't you get upset when people ask your autograph? No, I get upset when they don't, because if they ask your autograph, that means you touch their lives in some way. If they don't know who you are, then you didn't. So I don't mind signing autographs or talking to people, whatever, because I think that's part of it. And, the old saying, much is given, much is required. That means, you got to do something to help people, because the bottom line is that what do you do in between the time you're born and the time you die? What's your dash like? Is it helping people? Is it uplifting people? Is it making people feel good? Or is it making people feel bad because you believed you're pressed and you believe you were more than what you were? And the best thing for me is that I've had a dozen or more times people come up to me and said, Willie, when I was 5 or 6 years old, I met you. I asked for your autograph. You signed it to me. It meant the world to me. And it was amazing. And now those people are 20 and 30 years old. And it meant a lot to me, because I knew that at the time I made a conscious effort to treat people with dignity and respect, the way I want to be treated. And it all paid off.
Yes, sir. I can see that. I see you on Instagram, getting meeting everybody and all that. And it's just, you're a very humble, very kind individual. I've realized, getting to speak to you a little bit on the hitting the DMs and everything. And I appreciate you being so patient. I know I can be a little bit pestering, but that's the hustle.
It's all good. It's all good. No, it's just my. I was born in the South. My mother and father were great people. I lost my mother about 3-4 years ago. but she instilled in me just that. My mother never met a stranger, and my dad's still around. He's amazing. And I just had great teachers and friends coming up, and I had good enemies too. I mean, you think when you have enemies, it's not good, but you use those enemies to fuel the fire, and you light it inside of you to say, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do this. And those who told me I wouldn't achieve anything, it made me go, okay, I'm going to achieve something. I'm not going to show you, I'm going to show myself. So I think, it's a combination of both. And when you don't believe the hype and you just go out and you work for what you want, and then you get it, you achieve it, and then you work to try to bring someone else along, because it's each one teach one. Our world is a very confused and just dangerous place. And I think when we take it upon ourselves to help each other, each one help one, teach one, we can then change it. But if not, if we're all just selfish and it's like me, then we're never going to be the people that we can be, or the world that we can be, because we all have to live together, or we're all going to die together. Right. So that's just the way it goes.
Right. And as you're saying that, it brings up my next topic. You have been involved in so many amazing things for charity benefits. At one, you actually mentioned that was the Super Bowl Shuffle. That was actually to benefit a charity. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
We wound up giving over, I think it was $250,000 to the neediest families in Chicago, which was great. Our record, of course, was nominated for a Grammy. We won. We had a gold record and a platinum video. We were second behind Michael Jackson's Thriller of the all-time sellingest video at the time. And we lost to Prince as far as the Grammy, which should have been a special category for us, but we didn't. So cool.
That's no kidding. That's fantastic. That's something I did not know. I mean, I thought I researched everything. So you were pretty heavily involved in the Super Bowl Shuffle. Can you take me through the process of creating it?
Well, I actually helped create and produce the Super Bowl Shuffle. I met a guy named Dick Myers, who was the owner of Red Label Records. I met him in Monaco. I was there for a charity golf tennis tournament. I met him. My then agent was an ICM agent named Jack Gilardi, who introduced us. He said he lived in Chicago. He had this Red Label record company. He represented a lady named Linda Clifford. He wanted me to be in her video, which I did, called the Heat in Me. And then after that, we went to dinner, and he talked about this music we had, and maybe we should do something with the Bears. And I said, well, let's do something. The Bears. So I actually helped choose the guys, the 10 guys who were their singers, and it was my dubious duty to get all these guys to participate, which was very hard, because think about it. It was game number 2 in the season. We recorded a record that said we were going to the Super Bowl and we're winning. So Joe Namath predicted at the Super Bowl they'd win. We predicted in game number 2 of the season that we would win. So that's a really ultimate prediction. And we did.
Yeah. And that's funny too, because you say that and you hear more about Joe Namath talking about his prediction as opposed to the Super Bowl Shuffle actually being the second, after the second game of the season. Wow.
Right. Yeah. Second game of the season, we recorded the Super Bowl Shuffle, and the record, I think, was out the 4th or 5th game of the season. And then we shot the video the 13th game of the season, which we lost. And then we had to come back that Tuesday and shoot the video, which was very difficult because all the guys go, oh man, we lost. This is not good. So bad. But then we realized Mike Singletary was really good about helping get the guys together. That we have to do this as a team because we started, now let's finish it. Just like we have to start the season in football, we have to finish it by winning, making sure we play our best every game. And that's what we did.
Fantastic. I love it. So your talents, and forgive me, I actually typed this up because there are so many of these. Your talents aren't just on the football field and on the track, the running track, of course. You're actually a hell of an actor. I've actually watched some of it. Like I've gone and found these episodes and things on all these streaming platforms and stuff. You were in recurring roles in The West Wing and The Pretender, as well as movie roles in Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, which that does not get as much praise as I think it deserves, to be honest. Cellular, SWAT, Sum of All Fears, just to name a few.
Heat of the Night.
What's that?
The Heat of the Night.
Heat of the Night.
Right. Yeah,
Can you...
the Crips. Oh, exactly.
No. Hey, preach, man. Tell me what you got.
Good. Oh, absolutely.
Can you take us through what it was that the acting bug that bit you? Like what got you started in the process of you becoming such an actor in so many different things? I know you're in like some MTV, Parental Control. I mean, you're all over the place, man.
Well, I got the acting bug in college. In college, we would drive the day before the game on Friday. We had to stay at a hotel, so we go to the movies. So as I started seeing movies, I said, "Wow, this is great! I would love to do that one day." So I started thinking about I wanted to do movies in college at the University of Tennessee. And then when I was drafted by the Bears, I started taking classes at Second City in Chicago. And I did a couple of roles. After that, I got a couple small parts with Demi Moore and Rob Lowe in that movie About Last Night. And then, did a couple of things in Chicago. Then I got an agent in LA and came out and started doing acting roles and loved it. It was nothing like being on the set. It's a frightening thing, but it's the best thing because it's amazing. The people are amazing. That's where I got a chance to meet all the actors and Billy Crystal and all these amazing people, and got to be friends with them and got to be, peers with them. And it was amazing. And I spent another 5 years in acting classes. A guy named Sal Dano, which was a great guy. And then Milton Casalis at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, which was my last and major one. And got a chance to be in there with all types of actors and actresses. And it was amazing. Got a chance to work on my craft.
That's fabulous, man. Is there an actor that you met that was just, have you ever met anybody yet? I know you met Michael Jackson and everything, but I mean like somebody who's like the craft that you study that you just were in awe whenever you met them?
Well, I mean, I'm not at all, but I appreciate everything that they do. Like Denzel is like an amazing guy. And I know him personally. We've hung out before and his kids and, Al Pacino meeting him and him knowing who I was, Robert De Niro. I mean, those guys are the top guys, and I know most Wesley Snipes. I mean, all these guys I know, and they're really amazing guys. And to see what they do and to put it in perspective and to know what they do and know how hard it is and know it's not easy is just respectful. And I'm respectful of all that and really give the notoriety and the credibility to them.
Right. Absolutely. Do you have any projects coming up that we can look forward to?
I don't at the present time. I'm working on a couple of things. I have a couple of projects that I wrote that I'm going to do, that I'm going to produce at some point, but not right now. But I got a couple of things I'm trying to help produce. So, but nothing right now.
Okay. Well, anybody watching, pay attention to this man. He's going to be coming up in even more great projects. I mean, you've when I'm looking at IMDb, I'm just like, what? Like it's like it's impressive, man. I'm extremely impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You were a part of the 1980 Olympic team that boycotted.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
You're incredibly fast. And that's something there's a question here that I cannot wait to get to see your opinion and what you think. But so how bittersweet was that being selected for the Olympic team and then and hearing that is being boycotted?
Well, it was bittersweet. And as a young athlete, you think, oh, no worry, I'll just make the next team. But it didn't wind up being that way because a lot of the guys who made that team. Now, I'll have to say this. That year, there was 2 Olympics. We had an alternate Olympics. There were actually more countries with us than it was in Moscow. So we had an alternate Olympics, which I did win a gold medal there, but still there's an asterisk there. But in any event, I wish we had gone to Moscow and Russia and actually beat them on their home turf. It would have been better than us boycotting because nothing happened. They didn't leave Afghanistan and nothing really happened. So I think it was a political mistake by President Carter at the time to bring politics into the sports, because the Winter Olympics had an opportunity to go and win the gold medal, but the Summer Olympics, because at the time, the Winter and Summer Olympics were together the same year. So we didn't have an opportunity to go to Moscow, the real Olympics, but we did have an alternative Olympics. And, it was okay, but it wasn't the real thing. But the good thing about it is that, I met people there that I garnered relationships. Carl Lewis became a good friend, and we went on to break world records together and win world championships and win gold medals, and to do other great things. And I was very fortunate to be ranked number 3 in the world in the hurdles, 110-meter high hurdles, and number 4 in the world in 100 meters in the same year. So that was, and I played football too. So I wasn't track 100% of the time. So I was very blessed to be in that position to be able to do that. I think it was 1982. I think 81 or 82. I think it was.
Yeah, and it's I couldn't imagine like some of the guys just sitting back seeing you fly past and you're actually doing another sport instead of fully training in track and field. Like that would piss me off.
Yeah, if I knew what I know now, back then I would have been much faster. But still, it's just the way it is. There's better equipment now, better tracks, and the training is different and better. So everything is better. So I think I could have been faster than I was. But I was blessed with speed. I've always had speed. Even when I was 6 years old, I was running faster than people who was 8 and 9. So I've always been pretty fast.
Well ahead of the game. Okay, this I've been looking forward to this question. Is it true at the age of 50 you ran a 4.40?
Oh yeah.
So modest. No problem. Ran it backwards.
The thing about it is that I never really stopped running.
Uh-huh.
So you lose your speed when you stop running. You lose it, but it's less gradual. You're still running.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still running, then you can gradually lose it slower. So, but yeah, I ran pretty fast. Also I made the Winter Olympic team in bobsledding. I'm not sure if you do that. So
I did actually. I was going to talk about that.
Right. The reason I did is that I wanted to be in both Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics. And I narrowed it down to what I could and could not do. I couldn't ski jump. I couldn't speed skate. I couldn't, play hockey. So I could run fast and jump in. So that's what the bobsled does. You run fast and you jump in and hold on for dear life.
What part were you on the bobsled? Were you in the back, the front, the middle?
The brakeman and third on the 4, and then brakeman on number 2, man. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So it was good. It was a great experience. I mean, marching in the opening ceremonies for the Winter Olympics and in the village, and it was just great. It was awesome.
I bet that was incredible. So
yeah.
Okay. So lately, and this is my last question. I wanted to save this one for last, and I'll let you go because I know you're busy. Lately, all these players in the NFL have been, I don't know what it is, but I guess since Tyreek Hill became the cheetah and all this, and they challenge everyone to foot races, everybody. My question to you is if you were, when you were playing NFL, whenever you were in the NFL, when you were in your prime, so to speak, do you think you could take out these new kids, the Tyreek Hills and the Jalen Waddles and these guys?
I only go by time. I only go by time, and the IAAF have the times of everybody that's run up there, and so I can only go by time. I mean, my time is comparable with the top 3 or 4 in the history of the league. I mean, there's Bob Hayes, who was Olympic gold medal, 9.95. There's who else? There's Jeffrey Demps, who's run 9.9. There's Trent Holiday, who's run 9.9. Dale Green's run 10.08. Ron Brown's run 10.12. Sam Grady. So there's a top 4 or 5 guys that have all run 9.9, 10 flat, 10.1 together. And then there's other guys that run 10.2, but they run good on the football field, like a 40. But a 40 doesn't really measure anything. There's no 40-yard dash in the Olympics. The Olympics is measured by the 100 meters. That's what I go by that. I go by that. I go by the measurement of the 100 meters. Now, Tyreek Hill is fast. I mean, it's insane for them to even challenge Usain Bolt and track guys because it just doesn't make sense. It's just hyperbole. They can't win. They just can't. Those guys are faster. That's what they do for a living. It'd be like one of the track guys say, "Okay, I'm gonna come on the football field and beat you on the football field." It just doesn't work like that. It's a respect thing, really. And most of the guys don't respect track guys because they just think they can run. But it's the work they put in. It's a discipline. I still do it now. And it's a respectful business, but it's hard, and you just can't go out and say, I'm going to run fast. Now, either you're fast or you're not. You can get a little bit faster than you are, but if you have speed, you have speed. Tyreek Hill is a real deal. He's fast, but he's not track speed. I mean, he's track speed now, but he won't beat the guys he's saying he can beat. No.
Right. See, I was thinking the same thing, what you felt about the 40-yard dash. Like you ran a 4.4. That's impressive.
I ran a 4.4 at 50, but I ran 4.06 when I was 23, 24. But again, I ran those in tennis shoes. I didn't have spikes. It wasn't track. I mean, all those things. No, I ran 4.06. I ran 4.06 in spikes. But again, it's different. So could I run? Yes. The guys today can run. I mean, it's all relative. If you can get open, catch the ball is all that matters. Because if a guy gets the ball thrown to him 13, 14 times a game, 20 times a game, he's going to catch some. I got the ball thrown to me 1 to 3 times a game. I average 1 or 3 throws per game. Throws, not catches. Throws my way. Right. So, it's a different game today. And, those guys are fast and they're trying to promote themselves. And, I understand it. But, reality is reality. Respect is respect. You have to respect, the other team. I mean, it'd be like me going on the basketball court and telling LeBron James, I'm going to go out and I'm going to kick your butt. Or Michael Jordan, come on. It's like, I got to be realistic, Right. So I can believe that in my mind, but realistic it doesn't make sense. So that's it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's such thing as football speed. I know there's
right.
It's a different.
But a 40 doesn't do anything. It shows that you're quick. But quick is, I guess in football, you're running 40s or 50s or 60 when you run the deep patterns. Okay, that's okay. But it doesn't, on the world stage, it doesn't really mean anything. It means, okay, you're quick out of the blocks, but can you hold it for 100? Can you hold it for 200? Right. Can you hold it for 60, which is indoor 60? Okay, I don't mind the 60. But a 40 is just, I don't know, it's just something that the NFL say, okay, we're going to measure the 40-yard dash as the standard of football fast, which, it should be a 60, which is the normal distance indoors, or it should be 100, which is the normal distance outdoors.
Mm-hmm. So in a 100-yard dash or 100-meter, you burn them. You just say it. It's okay.
Well, I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys that are right there together. On any given day, anyone could win. I mean, you're talking about leaning, and that means you're pretty equal. I say we're sort of equal. There's 4 or 5 guys that are equal. Bob Hayes, Darrell Green, Ron Brown, Trenton Holiday, Jeffrey Demps, Tariq Hill, myself, and maybe Sam Grady or one other guy. But there's 4 or 5 or 6 guys that are right there together, all together. It's too close to call. It's it's just there. So, but again, when these people try to put down who's the fastest guys of all times, they don't get it right because they don't understand. They don't understand speed. They get someone who shouldn't be in the top 2, 3, or 4 or 5, and it's like, guys, you guys don't understand, which is okay, but that's just their opinion.
Right. Very political. Very good answer. I like that.
I'm running for president. You didn't know that? No.
Hey, man, you got my vote.
My God.
Wouldn't be the first actor to run for president, my man.
Right, exactly, right. Or a sport guy, right. No, I'm good.
Well, Mr. Gault, that's all I got for you, my friend. I can't.
Willie, please, just Willie. I'm just Willie. It's all good. Thank you for the respect. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This has been a blast. I'd love to have you on again later on.
For sure. Enjoy. Have a good one. Talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.